Welcome to the special episode of Maritime Viewpoints here on Marino World Online. I am Lynn Bacani. Joining us from Glasgow, Scotland is Mr. Chris McManamy, founder and CEO of Propel, a digital platform dedicated to seafarers worldwide. Welcome to the program, Chris.
Thank you, Lynn. Pleasure to be here.
Thanks a lot. And now let's start with the good news. What is your important announcement?
So our important announcement is we are launching Propel in the Philippines this coming week, this Friday. And yeah, we are super excited.
So please tell us about your plan, what your plans to do as part of your launching here in the Philippines.
So Propel, just to give a little background on what it is, it's a platform that we have built that provides seafarers with a number of really cool features. So one is they can build their online maritime profile. So they can upload and track and manage all their certification, training records, competencies, all these things. The platform will remind them when their certificates are expiring so they can keep them up to date. They can manage all their sea time records, it automatically calculates all their sea time, etc. And then using that profile, they can apply for one of hundreds of seafaring jobs that we have on the platform. So there's no need to continually email CVs or resumes to various email addresses. It's all one click of a button on Propel, you can apply for a job very quickly. And then third is it's also a social platform. So we have curated all of the social content out there relating to maritime. So nice photos, positive discussions, positive messages are all on this one platform. And it's also ready on iOS and Android. So it's available in your pocket at all times. So we're really excited about this. To launch this in the Philippines, we have a local team in the Philippines, 3 people in the Philippines already working for us. And we are launching with a really exciting competition. So we are planning to sponsor 10 local seafarers in Philippines to fully fund their review for their next competency. So that obviously is a really exciting opportunity for 10 local people to have that review done for them and then to hopefully go to the next stage in progressing their rank.
And indeed, Marine World is also delighted to be part of this launch. Here you are announcing the good news for the Filipino seafarers, opening doors of opportunities as well. So
Yes,
how does Propel works for the seafarers? Aside from that, those things you mentioned, the highlights of the platform.
So I mean, essentially, what we're trying to do is to make the lives of seafarers significantly easier, right? So Propel gives any seafarer in the world access to apply for any job that they want to apply for. So shipping companies and local crewing agencies will post their jobs on Propel. They set the specific requirements they have for the job. So maybe it's a competency or a rank or experience on board certain vessels. And then for the user, for the seafarer, because they have populated their profile with their own experience, with their own sea time, with their own competencies, we immediately tell the seafarer what jobs they are suitable for, and we give them a score. So we call it Propel Match. So we tell them you are 25, 50, 75% suitable for this job, and they can simply click on one button to apply for the job, and that's it. So it makes it so much easier for seafarers to apply for jobs via Propel. It's always applying from one location, so they don't have to go on Facebook groups or look through classified ads to find the jobs. They are all on Propel. So it's not only removing the barriers to finding the jobs, it's making it so much easier to apply for the job and to track the progress of their application.
So it's more than a digital recruitment app.
Right. Yeah. It's almost like a career management tool, right? So instead of carrying around hard copies of training records and competencies and all these things, they can upload them all to Propel. They can manage them securely on our platform. It's completely private, completely secure, and it keeps them up to date also. So if the certificates are expiring, we notify them on their phone. We send them an email to tell them they're expiring. So they know to go in and retake the course or to recertify themselves and keep their records up to date. And it obviously means everything is on the cloud, so they can access it at any time from anywhere in the world also. So yeah, it's more than just a recruitment platform for sure.
Yeah, and as I see as I browse the platform, the features, the content are really is really interesting. There are also updates for our seafarers on current issues.
Correct. Yeah, I mean, our aspiration with the platform is obviously to try to give a voice to seafarers. So, you know, one of the common issues with seafaring around the world is there's no common representation for seafarers, and you know, seafarers come from every country in the world. So we want Propel to grow in users and to become a powerful voice for seafarers to take some of the common issues to the IMO to try to, you know, engage with the IMO and to progress change for seafarers. You know, I mean, things like the crew crisis over the last 18 months, you know, these things have largely happened because there's no common representation for seafarers who are fighting their corner. So beyond recruitment, beyond managing certification, we feel long-term Propel can become that representation for seafarers around the world.
And Marino World would be delighted to share with you also the news for our seafarers and
For sure.
the interviews we're doing.
It's incredible and right that many seafarers around the world do not really have access to news and what is going on in shipping, because there's nowhere that brings it all together, right? Unless you stumble upon it on Facebook or LinkedIn or something, it's difficult to access. So yeah, even just curating news like what Marino World is doing into one platform is very attractive and very useful for seafarers.
That would be great. And for the manning agents or ship owners, what would be the benefit for them in using this platform?
So really, Propel provides crewing agencies, manning agencies, and shipping companies with an enormous benefit, because currently recruiting seafarers, right, is quite a manual process. So a job is posted somewhere on Facebook groups or wherever. Many hundreds or thousands of people apply for the job. But ultimately, someone has to go through each of the applications and check all the documentation, check if they are suitable for the job, all these things by hand. With Propel, the crewing agency can post the job, they set their specific requirements. And when people apply for the job on Propel, the crewing agency can click one button to show them only the people who meet the criteria for that job. So we're turning something that maybe takes several days into something that takes, 10 seconds to check. And also thereafter, they can very quickly review the seafarer's documentation because it's all on their profile on Propel. So it just makes the entire process so much simpler and to some extent drags it into the 21st century, I guess. It's been largely the same for a long time.
Mm-hmm. So you're posting vacancies for the different types of vessels, available positions.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly.
But there's an issue of data privacy. How do you handle the issue of data privacy in your platform?
So Propel itself is fully secure. It's HTTPS. The documentation, the certification that seafarers upload to their own Propel is only visible to them. If they apply for a job, then the recruiter will have access to see their records, but not to access their documentation. So they can see that they have a competency from Philippines for a master, for example, but they can't access the actual document. They can't take the document home. So we feel actually that process is a huge step forward for the industry, because currently what we see working with a number of crewing agencies is many seafarers, to apply for a job, are asked to send their documentation in an email to a random email address. And this is the same for most of the jobs they're applying for. So currently seafarers to some extent are forced to email their personal documentation around the world to apply for jobs. And that is really not good data hygiene, right? The privacy there is very poor. So we feel that Propel is going to change the privacy policies around these things in a positive way.
Really making life easier for our seafarers and even the manning agents. Because, here in the Philippines, we have more than 300 manning agencies, and mostly are located in Metro Manila. So our seafarers from provinces, they are going to Metro Manila to just to apply for this so many agencies for job opportunities.
Yeah, and it is crazy, isn't it, that we seafarers are forced to do this just to apply for jobs. I mean, we really believe that anyone in the world should have the ability to find and apply for a job quickly and easily.
And how to register? What are the responsibilities of each party who are registering in the platform?
So for both parties, it's very simple. You just head over to www.propelme.io. Sign up there. The registration takes just a couple of minutes. We ask just some basic information for the seafarer in terms of what rank you are, your name, this type of stuff, very basic information, and that's them in. They can then choose to start to build their profile if they want to. They can take some time to engage with the content. It's completely up to them. It's like any social network. You can engage as much as you want to or as little as you want to. From the crewing agent side, the sign-up process is the same. Obviously, they're not adding their seafarer documentation because they're not a seafarer. But once they've joined, they can set up their company as a company cabin, which is what we call them, like a company page. And then they can start posting their jobs quite easily on the platform. So we've made the whole thing very simple, very easy for seafarers and crewing agencies to join.
So it's user friendly.
It's very user friendly. Yeah, we've tried to follow a lot of the examples of things like Facebook and Instagram and stuff that makes the joining process actually quite fun and engaging rather than laborious. So even for a seafarer, building your profile, especially if you're a higher officer rank, you've been at sea a long time. So adding these entries to anything online can take some time, but we've tried to make that process fun and easy for them to build their profile. And once they've built their profile, that's it. You only need to do it once, and then you can use that profile to apply for hundreds of jobs for the next 5 years, 10 years. So it may seem time consuming to start with, but you only need to do it once.
How many seafarers and companies have already signed up with Propel?
So we're sitting currently on over 25,000 seafarers, majority of which are from Philippines. Probably at least 60% of those are already from Philippines. So it's a good representation of Filipino seafarers. In terms of companies, we're probably sitting around 12 to 15 companies. We haven't really pushed the company thing until this week when we launch in Philippines. We've been keeping that fairly quiet just now. But going forward, I think the adoption will be pretty quick. I think for any company, an audience of 25,000 seafarers, especially majority in the Philippines, is very attractive to be in front of. So I think companies will adopt the platform very quickly. And with the competition that we're running, picking 10 seafarers from our user base to pay for their review for the next rank is hopefully going to be attractive to seafarers in the Philippines to join and to enter this competition.
Chris, we'll just take a short break. Please stay with us. Maritime Viewpoints will be right back.
Hi, my name's Fraser. I'm a serving captain on a ferry and co-founder of Propel. It's been a tough year for seafarers, working through the pandemic, ensuring ships kept sailing and vital goods continued to be delivered. I am proud of the sacrifices seafarers have made and continue to make, often at the expense of your own welfare and well-being, and sometimes brought upon by difficult circumstances and situations. We at Propel believe you deserve better. That's why we've designed a platform bringing seafarers together, enabling you to control your career and get that dream job. On Propel, there are many features to help you manage your career and find that dream job. But some of the ones I think you will find most useful are the ability to build your digital discharge book, which includes the competencies, experience and training that shipping companies want to know. No more endless hours of preparing and sending hundreds of CVs out, never to hear anything back. With Propel, you enter your information once and then relax. Propel will also provide a digital home for your certificates, monitoring their status and alerting you before they expire. meaning you will always be fit to sail. Propel also allows you to connect, network and engage with other seafarers inside cabins on our main deck to discuss the issues that matter, comment on maritime news and post shipping memes. Propel has been built by seafarers for seafarers, and we have developed Propel bespoke to your needs. At Propel, we will always be on your side, and this is demonstrated in our Propel pledges. Never ever charging a seafarer to access Propel or apply for a job. Always respecting and protecting your data, and committed to ensuring that your voice is heard. So welcome to Propel, and good luck finding that dream job.
What if I tell you that KSIM Connect has become a reality? It is the cloud-based ecosystem for maritime education and training, where Kongsberg provides simulation and services to all members. As an instructor, my main goal is to educate and train seafarers to acquire skills promoting safety, sustainability, and efficiency at sea. At KSIM Connect, I can efficiently manage my simulators, my exercises, and my students. In the exercise archive, I can store my library of exercises, and if I want, collaborate and share them with my colleagues or others in the global community. KSIM Connect enables me to give students access to cloud simulation, so they can train anytime and anywhere while learning at their own pace. In addition, I can explore the library of models and exercise areas, download or subscribe those that fit the learning objectives. And I can even order spare parts or a service visit if needed. Kongsberg has started to create the future of maritime education and training by creating the community where instructors can find news, explore and download available simulator models, distribute or share exercises that fit the curriculum. Imagine using KSIM Connect to integrate our simulators in the same virtual exercise environment, enabling students to train and interact together. It doesn't matter whether you're in Singapore, Australia, or in the United States. As long as you're online, you are part of the knowledge-sharing community. Kongsberg is shaping the future of maritime education and training by creating the community. Let's continue building this community together for the benefit of ourselves and the entire maritime training industry. Join KSIM Connect today.
We're back on the program. You're watching Maritime Viewpoints here on Marino World Online. Our guest, Mr. Chris McManamy, founder and CEO of Propel, a digital platform dedicated to seafarers worldwide. Chris, let's talk more about your platform and why give a special focus on the Philippines.
So, I mean, for us, it was a very obvious place to focus on. We have some background in our team in terms of being based in the Philippines, working in crewing agencies in the Philippines. We, as co-founders, have all served time at sea. We've all sailed. We've all worked with Filipino crew. We all love working with Filipino crew. So, and obviously, Philippines is one of the largest seafaring nations in the world. So for us, everything combined made it an obvious place to focus on to start with. We're very passionate about trying to overcome many of the obstacles that Filipino seafarers face in terms of not only working on board, but even trying to find and apply for jobs and to deal with crewing agencies and to avoid dealing with illegitimate crewing agencies and avoid having to pay just to apply for jobs. We at Propel really feel that behavior is horrible, and we want to make a change to avoid that. So we feel Philippines is a really great starting place for Propel to make a real positive change to seafarers locally.
And why named the platform Propel? What inspired you to create this platform?
We wanted the name to be related to the maritime industry, of course. I mean, across the Propel platform, we have lots of fun references to things and to words that are common to the maritime industry, which people will discover on their own. But in terms of the name of the company, we wanted something that was aspirational. We wanted it to represent what we're trying to achieve, which is to further the careers of seafarers around the world. And Propel is probably the best description of what we're trying to provide to people. We're trying to propel them to the next stage in their career and to do that. So it seemed a very appropriate name for the company.
And how did you come up with the concept? What were the processes you've gone through?
So like I said, myself and my two co-founders, we have all worked at sea. I was an engineering cadet. Our co-founder Fraser, he's a serving captain on ferries in the UK, and our other co-founder Stuart has been on maybe over 150 different vessels in his time working with crews all around the world, most of which have been Filipino crew. So we are young, ambitious, and fairly innovative, and we all felt that seafarers around the world are underrepresented. They are, almost intentionally marginalized by many shipping companies because the status quo of shipping currently benefits shipping companies, right? It benefits ship owners because crewing is very much a race to the bottom industry. Shipping companies are able to jump from country to country to chase the cheapest crew. No, the crew are very underrepresented in terms of taking their issues to shipping companies or even higher to IMO. So we felt that why could we not bring modern technology to seafarers to provide them with a platform that benefits them significantly in terms of progressing their career, managing their career, and finding a dream job, but also long-term, aspirationally, can represent those seafarers, can fight on behalf of the seafarer to get better quality conditions on board, to get something as simple as Wi-Fi on board. It's something like only 25% of ships in the world have Wi-Fi that's accessible to the seafarers on board. And that's unacceptable to us, that with modern technology, seafarers, especially Philippine seafarers, are expected to go to sea for 9 to 12 months without access to Wi-Fi and without the ability to connect with their family back home. And it's no wonder that we are facing a crewing crisis when this is what is accepted by shipping companies as standard conditions. For us, that's not acceptable, and we want to fight on behalf of seafarers long term to make those positive changes.
Now, let's take a harder look of the current issues about the crew change crisis. What are your thoughts on this?
I think the crew change crisis was very disappointing. Looking from the outside in, I think it highlighted the inequalities that seafarers face compared to other global industries, right? In that, because there's no unified representation, they were largely at the behest of every individual country and whether they would let a crew change take place or not take place. And we all know that most countries refused to allow crew changes to take place. Now, they all had their own reasons for doing so, of course, but the result of that was, of course, that seafarers have been stuck at sea for 18 months, longer than 18 months. Our own co-founder, Stuart, was on a vessel just a few weeks ago here in the UK, and the Filipino crew had been on board for 18 months. They hadn't been home for 18 months. Some of them, their families have been struggling with COVID back home and money issues. And, it's horrible that that is the case. And I think, in our opinion, it highlights the need for something like Propel to represent seafarers and to have the power and the user base of a large percentage of seafarers around the world to take these issues to the necessary people to make a positive change. Ultimately, the crew change crisis, there were many shipping companies who tried very hard to do crew changes despite the challenges. But we all know that. We've seen a lot of the good stories. But I think, and this is common in shipping, it was a very good excuse for a number of shipping companies to avoid the cost of doing a crew change for a long time. And doing a crew change is very expensive, right? When you add in the travel and the downtime and all these things, it's an expensive process. And I think a lot of shipping companies used this to their advantage to make extra money over that 12 to 18 month period. And again, that calls for representation of seafarers, right?
And BIMCO and ICS Seafarer Workforce Report 2021 cited that there will be a shortfall of 26,000 officers by 2026. How do you see the future of crewing in global shipping?
I think that report was incredible reading, especially compared to the one 5 years previous, where in many ways things have gotten worse rather than better in that 5 year period. And for us, it ties in a lot with our mission at Propel and what we're trying to achieve. I think the report highlighted, in our opinion, there's three areas of concern here, and I think they need to be addressed immediately to avoid a catastrophe and shortage of officers in 5 years' time. For us, the first issue really is the race to the bottom approach for crewing, right? Shipping companies are always looking for the low-cost crewing, the cheapest crew possible, but they're still expecting the crew to be capable and to be knowledgeable and to be competent at their jobs. But this race to the bottom, ultimately, combined with things like the crewing crisis, combined with the somewhat appalling conditions that seafarers face, lack of Wi-Fi, poor quality cabins, poor quality food on board, is driving especially younger generations away from working as a seafarer. And I think younger people feel they have more choices in life, and they are largely looking at the job of a seafarer. They're looking at the prospect of having no Wi-Fi for 9 months and thinking, my life revolves around being online, so it's just not attractive to be a seafarer and to have no Wi-Fi for 9 months. So we're seeing good quality seafarers, good quality talent leaving the industry at a time where actually we need to have more people coming to the industry to try to solve this crew change crisis. I think that ties in with the second point of what we think is the problem here, and that is that there's a lack of investment from shipping companies over a long period of time. We're talking 10, 15, 20 years, a lack of investment in bringing the ratings from countries like Philippines and investing in progressing them through their ranks to become officers. The approach is very much race to the bottom. When a certain country becomes too expensive for crewing, they go to the next country, which is cheaper. And the result of that is there is an oversupply of ratings, right? And an undersupply of officers because there's no investment in taking those ratings through to become officers. And that is not going to change unless that investment starts to come through. Third problem in this is where the job of a seafarer has changed significantly from 20 years ago, when things like STCW and the training requirements were written. The job is significantly different now. Shipping is embarking on things like decarbonisation, scrubber systems, ballast water treatment systems, autonomous shipping, AI. All these things are being discussed, and they should be. As an industry, we should be endeavouring to put these things in place. But no one is really thinking, well, is the existing STCW, the training requirements, the competencies, is that suitable for the life of a seafarer nowadays? And in our opinion, it really isn't, because we're expecting seafarers to deal with all of these new technologies without training, but still to also deal with their existing workload on board, which again hasn't changed in that time. So we're also reducing the number of crew on board. The number of crew on board from 20 years ago is quite significant. And all told, we're not really painting a particularly attractive picture for seafarers. And I think that's unlikely to change over the next 5 years unless we make significant strides towards providing seafarers with a better quality life on board while they're on board the ship. And that's just fundamental things like Wi-Fi, better food, better cabins on board. And these are all things that at Propel we feel we can make a real case to campaign for on behalf of on behalf of seafarers.
And because of the experiences amid the pandemic, the realizations on disruptions in shipping operations because of the manpower sustainability. Now we're talking of sustainability in the future. Chris, how do you see the role of Propel in the future of the seafaring profession and of the shipping industry in general? How would you contribute to address these issues?
We feel that if you take the example of a highly skilled land-based professional looking for a new job and applying for a new job, part of that process is you would look at the company, you would look at the office that you're planning to work in, you would do some research, you would try to understand a lot about where you're going to work physically and the company you're going to work for. And those things factor very heavily into your decision as a shore-based professional and taking a job. But when it comes to seafarers, shipping companies and crewing agencies expect a seafarer to apply for a job, travel around the world and join the ship with no information other than the fact that it's a bulk carrier, right? In many cases, that's the only information they're given. And they join a vessel and they have no idea about the quality on board, the food on board. Does it have Wi-Fi? What are the expectations? What is the company like to work for? That information very often is not provided. And I think it's younger generations are less likely to embark on those unknowns. And that's part of the problem here. And what we feel Propel ultimately can become for the seafarer is a way of them knowing more about the job they're applying for and being able to make a more informed decision on whether they want to apply, whether they want to take the job. And on the other side, for the crewing agencies, for the shipping companies, it's a way for them to provide more information about the job, because ultimately they will learn that they are getting much better candidates applying for the job because they're providing more information and because they are matching automatically via Propel with suitable candidates. So we feel it's more a case of increasing transparency in the jobs, which benefits everyone. And that is a big shift from where we are currently. And we think the first stage in that is providing the platform to do it, which is ultimately what Propel is here to do.
Chris, there is so much zeal and proactive ways in you. Any special concerns you wish to express or elaborate?
No, we're just excited to be launching in Philippines. We're really excited to really try to make a positive change locally, and hopefully seafarers locally will help to support what we're trying to achieve and join Propel and help us to change the world.
Thank you so much, Chris. Thank you for sharing with us your inner thoughts, and congratulations to the launch of Propel in the Philippines.
Thank you, Lynn. Yeah, it's been a pleasure to be on, and thank you.
Mr. Chris McManamy, founder and CEO of Propel, a digital platform dedicated to seafarers worldwide. Thank you for watching Maritime Viewpoints here on Marino World Online. I am Lynn Bacani. Stay tuned on Marino World Online for more maritime news and views.
Hi, my name's Fraser. I'm a serving captain on a ferry and co-founder of Propel. It's been a tough year for seafarers, working through the pandemic, ensuring ships kept sailing and vital goods continued to be delivered. I am proud of the sacrifices seafarers have made and continue to make, often at the expense of your own welfare and well-being, and sometimes brought upon by difficult circumstances and situations. We at Propel believe you deserve better. That's why we've designed a platform bringing seafarers together, enabling you to control your career and get that dream job. On Propel, there are many features to help you manage your career and find that dream job. But some of the ones I think you will find most useful are the ability to build your digital discharge book, which includes the competencies, experience and training that shipping companies want to know. No more endless hours of preparing and sending hundreds of CVs out, never to hear anything back. With Propel, you enter your information once and then relax. Propel will also provide a digital home for your certificates, monitoring their status and alerting you before they expire, meaning you will always be fit to sail. Propel also allows you to connect, network and engage with other seafarers inside cabins on our main deck to discuss the issues that matter, comment on maritime news and post shipping memes. Propel has been built by seafarers for seafarers, and we have developed Propel bespoke to your needs. At Propel, we will always be on your side, and this is demonstrated in our Propel pledges. Never ever charging a seafarer to access Propel or apply for a job. Always respecting and protecting your data, and committed to ensuring that your voice is heard. So welcome to Propel, and good luck finding that dream job.